Dear students, very good morning. Welcome to Embedded System Design lecture series. So last class we discussed about embedded system design introduction. So now we are going to discuss about what is the strategy selection of processor and memory. So this is the second lecture in embedded system design. So let's start. Yeah. So, before going to the strategy selection of processor and memory, we have to know the steps to choose processor and memory. The first step is choose between AMD and Intel. So, whether we are going to use AMD processor or Intel processor. Okay, what is the next step for processor selection means check the processor labels and generation. So currently we are using 11th generation Intel processor. Okay, so third step is inquire about cores and threads, whether it is core i5 or core i7, how many threads it has, we have to know about it. Next step, that is step 4, is know more about integrated graphics. So, like a graphic user interface. Next one is the clocks and IPC, interprocessor communication. How many clocks, what is the clock speed we are going to use in that processor? We have to know it. And sixth step is power and thermal specification, power consumption and thermal specification. Okay, so in this steps, we can know how to choose the right processor for your laptop. Okay, so the next one is here we have a table. In the first column, we have a requirements and Intel processor families and AMD processor family. Here we can compare Intel processor family and AMD processor family based on the customer requirement. Suppose the customer requirement is only for browsing and chatting means they can choose Intel Celeron processor or Intel Pentium processor. In the terms of AMD, we can they can choose AMD 4, A4, and AMD A6. Suppose their requirement is watching or streaming means they can choose Intel Core i3 or AMD A8 or A10. Suppose they are used for office work or study purpose means Intel Core i3 is enough. AMD Ryzen 5 processor is used. Currently, I am using AMD Ryzen 7 processor in my laptop. After that, suppose they are using for programming, like IT company, IT employees, they are using Intel Core i5, AMD Ryzen processor. Suppose they are using for gaming purpose means they need a processor. They are need for a gaming purpose means they can select Core i5 or AMD Ryzen 5. For designing purpose means they can go for Intel Core i7 or AMD Ryzen i7. Mainly HP laptop comes under AMD processor Ryzen family. Intel mainly used in the Intel Core i5 and or i7 processor. Currently we are using i5 and i7 processor with the 11th generation. Okay, so I hope you understand the different types of applications and then how to choose the processor based on the application. Okay. So how do you select processor and memory for an embedded system? So till now we discussed how do you select processor for a laptop. Now we have to concentrate on embedded system. Okay, so first we have to understand what architecture we are going to use. Architecture and its silicon design. That means IC design, and then evaluation of the fabrication techniques helped packing more number of transistor in a same area. By using this methodology, we can increase the performance of the processor. Okay, so we can reduce the propagation delay also. So what are the important consideration when selecting a processor means the number of cores needed, the number of core needed, whether core i5 or core i5 or core i7, what the computer will be used for, whether it is used for gaming purpose or whether it is used for charting or designing, and the type of software to be run, the processor compatibility, and the speed of the CPU, central processing unit. We have to consider all these things when choosing a processor and memory. Okay, so next one is, what is memory selection? So, till now we discussed about processor selection, how to choose a processor, and what are the parameters we have to concentrate on that. Okay, next we can go for the memory selection. Okay, memory selections to store flight software or payload data, health monitoring data, enough RAM to execute all the software. So different type of memories can be classified: volatile memory as a non-volatile memory. So it requires constant power to maintain a stored information. Suppose volatile memory means it need a constant power to store information. Okay, so we have two types of memory: primary memory and secondary memory. Secondary memory is the example for ROM. So primary memory is the RAM. Okay, so I hope you understand what is how to choose a processor and memory for an embedded system and what is memory. So now it's the time for assessment. How we can choose a processor and memory for an embedded system means based on the customer requirement. So what is the customer requirement? Based on that we can choose the processor, whether we are going to use it for designing purpose or whether we are going to use it for the gaming purpose. Based on that we can choose a processor, whether core i5 or core i7, AMD Ryzen 5, AMD Ryzen 7 processor. So memory is the store memory. What is memory means? Memory is a storage device. Mainly it is used to store information. It may be primary memory or secondary memory. Okay. Thank you, students. I hope you understand what is the processor and memory selection strategy. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day.